Good afternoon to all. Today we are going to discuss about end effectors. Okay, end effectors is nothing but the device or a material which is connected at the wrist of a robot. Okay, wrist of a robot. So the end effectors normally have a lot of devices, not only devices, also sensors also there. Force torque sensors as well as slip sensors. Slip sensors are attached along with the pads of the finger. Mechanical, if it is a mechanical gripper, and the pads. So it has two finger, three finger grippers and multi-finger grippers. Okay, so not only grippers, also tools, specialized tools also attached in the wrist of a robot. So tools is nothing but some specialized devices like welding gun, the painting spray gun, even spoons. Spoons also a tool attached at the wrist of a robot. Okay, so today we are going to see the different type of end effectors, grippers and tools. So there are different type of grippers, mainly mechanical grippers, magnetic grippers, vacuum cup grippers, then specialized tools. There are some specialized tools. Also, we can classify grippers as a internal gripper as well as external gripper. Okay, let's see in detail today. Okay, so there are different type of end effectors, namely grippers, and tools. Okay, grippers and tools. So types of grippers are say mechanical grippers, then magnetic grippers, then vacuum cup grippers, then specialized tools. So these are all called end effectors. End effectors nothing but the device or a tool which is attached at the wrist of the robot. There is a wrist of a robot. That is called a end effector. So what are the various parts of a end effector? Let's see. So this is the wrist. Okay, wrist. So this has pad. The pad is normally the shape of the object. Suppose it's a ball-like structure. Okay, so these two are pads. This is work part. Okay, work part. This is called work part. This is pad with work part. Pad. So these are all fingers. So it has two fingers. Okay, fingers. So this is say this is called gripper, mechanical gripper. Gripper attached at the wrist. Basically, this is the typical parts of a end effector, parts of an end effector. So there are again, this is according to the operation. We classify mechanical, magnetic, vacuum cup, tools, work part. Okay, so tools. About the arrangement of the finger, we can classify into two groups. So gripper, you say mechanical gripper can be of two types. One is external gripper, another one is internal gripper. So there are two types of gripper. So what is external? Say suppose let's see, suppose work part is here. Work part is like this. So work part. Suppose it the gripper attached gripper used to lift the object inside. Say this is, so the fingers are inside the work part. This is work part. These two are fingers. So this type of arrangements, say, sorry. So when the gripper used to lift, or the gripper used to lift inside the object. So for example, I will tell, if you want to lift a plastic bottle, so the gripper has to insert inside and lift it. Okay, that is internal grippers. External gripper is this is nothing but a external gripper. So this is internal gripper, right? This is example. This is an example for external gripper. External gripper. This is internal gripper. This is connected to actuating mechanism. So internal gripper, right? So this is the basic classification of gripper. Basically, internal gripper and external gripper. These apart from this, according to the arrangement, the device manufacturing the part, we can classify into mechanical, magnetic, vacuum cup grippers, right? So what are the different types of mechanical grippers? Mechanical grippers are arranged. There are different type of mechanical grippers. Linkage actuation. The gripper called linkage actuation. Okay. The mechanical grippers are classified as according to linkage, according to classified according to first linkage mechanism, linkage actuation mechanism, linkage actuation mechanism. Then gear rack pinion. Okay, gear rack pinion. Then cam, okay, cam actuation, cam actuation, Then another mechanical type is screw actuation. Okay. Then the vacuum cup grippers. That is also comes under this one. You can also have one more type called rope and pulley, like water is taken from the well, no? So the pulley, rope pulley, rope pulley. So these are all the major classification of mechanical grippers. Let's see what are the different type of linkage actuation mechanism. Linkage actuation mechanism. First type is we are going to see various linkage actuation mechanism. Say a pivot. Sorry, I draw here a pivot which is attached here. Clear? Actually, these two are fingers. So here we apply the force. So this is linkage actuation. Linkage means with the pivot. So based on the pivot. So we want to grasp the object. What we have to do? So this two finger has to move this side. So we have to apply the force. That force called gripping force. FG, gripping force here. So if actually in the grippers we apply gripping force. So how to generate gripping force? By means of actuation mechanism, by means of some actuation mechanism, by means of some actuation mechanism. So what is actuation? There are different type of actuators we already see. Hydraulic actuators, pneumatic actuators, electrical actuators, right? So those actuators or drives used to apply to grasp the object. So how to, this is a, actually this is a pivot. So pivot, these two are the gripper fingers. Okay. So what happened? So when the actuation force is applied towards this direction, an actuation force, say this is, you consider, let us consider this FA. So some mechanism, hydraulic mechanism, or this some FA actuation. This is another actuation force. So FA is a actuating force, FG is the gripping force. So when we apply actuation force towards this direction from this side, so the gripper are applied to the pot to lift the pot or to grasp the pot. So this is one type of actuation mechanism. See another type. Let us see here. There are here there are 2, 3 links. These are all called links. Okay, links. Actually, this is the parallel linkage actuation. This one is angular. This one is angular. This one is parallel. Here we have the pivot fixed. 2 pivots are fixed. Now just imagine yourself. Just imagine yourself. What happened here? We have to apply the gripping force in this direction. gripping force. So what you have to do, actually, this is single actuators. So single actuation, FA, single actuation. So what happened when this actuation force towards this direction? What happened? So this will move up. So this link will move up. This will move down. Okay. So what happened? This becomes, say, like this. So this will pick up the gripping force applied towards this direction. So this is parallel actuators. So another type of actuator is also there. This is all simple. So the pivot is attached here. This is also one angular type of actuators. So the fingers, it is also two fingered. These are all typical constructions. So links, we have links like this. So the links are movable one, all are movable. Okay, here also these links are movable. So this also movable about the point. So now, can you tell me where the gripping force here? So how this gripping force moves towards this direction? So this one gripping force, this green force. Where will be your actuating force? The actuating force is at the middle. Okay, you see here. So the actuating force is applied here in this direction, FA. So when you apply towards this side, so this will go away. So this will go away. So these two come closer. So gripping force is applied. So FA, this is the FA. Okay, actuating force, gripping force. This is one type of linkage. So these are all typical mechanical linkage actuation grippers. Okay. Next is gear and rack pinion. So gear and rack pinion type of so what is gear and rack pinion? So this is very simple. Gear and rack pinion. So it has a rack. This is a rack. Okay, this is a rack where the actuation force is applied on either direction. On either direction. Sorry. So this is, oh sorry, goes up, right, leave it, no problem. So up and down, yeah, gear type of arrangement. Gear type of arrangement is here. So the gear is rotating about the pivot. So the pivot is fixed. The pivot is fixed. So this is a rack. This is gear attached with the rack. This is two fingers. These two fingers moving up and down along this rack. Along the rack. Sorry. Okay. So one more gear. So this arrangement is called gear and rack pinion. Okay. So the two gripping force, our main aim is to generate a gripping force by means of applying the actuating force on either direction. This may be this may be connected to any piston device, piston-like device. Okay, say piston. Okay, piston and uh, ram. Okay, piston and ram arrangement. So this is connected to piston and ram, or piston and cylinder. Okay, piston and cylinder arrangement. So if we move the rack on this either direction, so the gear is attached with the, say the gear attached with the rack is moving. So when the rack is moving either direction, this will lift up and down. Okay, so on either side. So the gripping force is applied here. So this is rack and pinion arrangement. So this is the next one is cam actuation, cam actuator type of mechanical grippers, cam actuators. So that type of actuator is also very simple. It has a cam, a movable cam. Sorry. Movable cam. This cam is attached here. So on either side, the cam is movable. So this is a roller. Huh? So this is a gripper. This two finger grippers. Oh, sorry. Let me finish here itself. Okay. There is a spring between two. So to regain its position. So the spring is attached between, sorry, or you can have like this. Spring. You just understand the operation. The same okay. Sorry. The actuation force here, gripping force. Here, gripping force. So this is a roller. Roller. Spring. This is spring. This is another roller. This is cam. Okay, this is called cam. So this is cam actuated gripper. Say when when the cam is moving towards this direction, the roller will move in this direction. Okay, this roller will move in this direction, so that the gripper will come together. The gripping force is increasing. Since this is a pivot attached with the fixed edge. Okay, this is cam actuated gripper. Clear? Next is screw type of grippers. See what is screw. So next is screw, right? Screw, a screw-like structure. A screw-like structure is attached at a fixed end. Sorry. Let me draw here. Here one gripper. From this end, another gripper. So this is a joint. This is joint. The screw type structure. These are all screws. You just image like a screw. Okay. When we apply threading direction this way, so this way, the screw will move towards this direction. Okay. So the gripping force is applied here. So gripping force is applied here. So this is actuation force. So this setup called screw arrangement of mechanical grippers. So this is about some types of mechanical devices. So some typical figures in industries. You see, this is a two-fingered external grippers. The work part, this is work part. So this is fingers. Okay, fingers. This is work part. So this is the cam actuation. Cam actuation. See, this is the gripper along with the piston. See, this is the actuation. So through this piston, the actuation force is applied. Sorry, FA. So here is the gripping force in the pad. So this is a piston and cylinder arrangement. There is a shaft. So this is the body of the gripper. So this is a pivot pin in the linkage form. This is the two-fingered gripper, internal gripper. So this is a two-finger internal gripper. Okay. Next is magnetic grippers. So basically there are two types of magnetic grippers. One is permanent magnet. See, another one is electromagnet. So permanent magnet. Another one is electromagnet. So what are the advantages of permanent magnet and electromagnet? What are the advantages and disadvantages? Permanent magnet as well as electromagnet grasp only ferrous objects, iron type of object. Okay, ferrous material. So this is electromagnet. This is one typical electromagnet gripper. Electromagnetic gripper. So this is permanent magnet gripper. So these are all different, more number of magnetic piece. Say this is the material grasped by the permanent magnet pad. So this is a permanent magnet pad. Permanent magnet pad. So this lift different objects. Okay. So these are all work part. Work part. So the permanent magnet there are some advantages of permanent magnet. Why it doesn't require any power supply. Permanent magnet doesn't require any power supply. Whereas electromagnet require power source. Okay. So the permanent magnet disadvantage is also there. But the electromagnet, no, the permanent magnet can pick up very high load objects, whereas electromagnet cannot do the job very fastly as well as very high workload. Payload is very less in electromagnet. Permanent magnet, it can lift whatever may be the weight of the part. So the disadvantage with the permanent magnet is it requires squeezing object. So when it picks, when after picking the object by means of permanent magnet arrangement, if you want to leave, say consider a pick and place robot. If you pick up is easy with the permanent magnet fixing. So when you want to place it in another place, so when you want to leave it, you need a squeezing or a removing device from the permanent magnet. Whereas the electromagnet, very easy. So whenever you want to, the electromagnet, whenever you want to pick up magnetic, the ferrous object, you apply the power source. So it will get magnetized and does the job. When you want to leave it, you switch off the power. So it gets demagnetized. That is the advantage with the electromagnets. Okay. So let's see the typical permanent magnet gripper. So this is the tripping device. This is the airline pipeline. This is the actuation. So actuation force is here is actuating force. This is robo arm. So this is the stripping device. The stripping device is used to leave the object. Say this is the steel plate. Assume the steel plate. So the permanent magnet pick up the steel plate. If you want to remove the steel plate from the permanent magnet, we have to apply stripping arrangement using the cylinder actuation. So here we apply stripping force. So Fs. So both side Fs, stripping force. So how to generate stripping force? By means of the air cylinder actuator. So this is an arrangement for permanent magnet gripper. So this is electromagnet gripper. So this is the body of electromagnet. Inside the coil is magnetizing coil is. This is the magnetizing coil wound in the electromagnet. So this is the object. Whenever you want to pick up the object, you apply the DC power. Maximum the electromagnets are made up of DC in the industries. DC power. Okay. The permanent magnet gripper, there are some advantages as well as disadvantages. See, I consolidated 5 advantages and 5 disadvantages, pros and cons. So it only needs one surface to grab the object. The grasping speed is fast. It is flexible since it does not need different designs for different part. So it can grip part with the holes. Even holes is there, it can pick up. Okay. So which is not possible with the vacuum cup gripper. So if the part has holes, vacuum gripper cannot be picked because the vacuum cup gripper requires the smooth surface to pick up with the vacuum cup. It requires minimal maintenance. Okay. So whereas the disadvantages are when we move quickly, suppose the permanent magnet gripper moves quickly, the part sometimes slip away from the grippers. Okay, the permanent magnet grippers. Just a little oil on the surface. Always some little oil is going to apply on the surface because then only the squeezing, the stripping is easy to reduce the strength of end effector. Then machining chips can be can stay some part of materials. The lifting object materials can be attached on the grippers. Okay. Handled parts can stay magnetized. Say suppose if the permanent magnet gripper lifts some ferrous object, the object itself gets sometimes magnetized. Okay, you can realize in the screwdrivers, some screwdrivers gets magnetized when we use the permanent magnets. So it can be used only with the ferromagnet. That is the disadvantage. So only used in the ferromagnet, right? So these are all advantages. These are all disadvantages. So in examination, sometimes question may be asked, describe the permanent magnet and the electromagnetic grippers and enumerate the advantage and disadvantage of the both grippers. So you have to describe these things. Next is vacuum curve grippers. So vacuum curve grippers are, so before going to discuss vacuum curve gripper, let us do one problem. Please take down. Okay, let's discuss the problem at the end. Okay, no problem. Vacuum cup grippers are made up of the flat rubberized materials. Okay, flat rubberized materials. Actually, it requires the vacuum cup grippers requires negative pressure. So negative pressure is applied inside. Then only it can do the thing. This is a typical vacuum cup gripper. Okay. So vacuum cup grippers. So this is actually this vacuum cup gripper has a so these grippers, the typical industrial vacuum cups. You know, vacuum cups, suction cups. So you can also realize with the steel tumbler in your stomach, sometimes it will attach on our body. Similarly, these grippers inside here we require negative pressure. Negative pressure. So this is the pad. So vacuum pad. The pad is attached here. So the negative pressure is there is a formula to calculate how much negative pressure is required to lift the object through vacuum curve grippers. That is a very simple formula. Force equal to pressure into area. Actually, pressure equal to force by area. So here, so the gripping force required to lift the object. To lift the object is Fg equal to P into A. So this is a force, gripping force to lift the object. Let us do one problem for vacuum cup grippers. Actually, A set of vacuum cup grippers, a set of vacuum cup grippers is used to lift a stainless steel plate. Okay, some vacuum cup grippers, vacuum cup grippers used to lift stainless steel plate, SS plate, stainless steel plate. That the grade is also mentioned, that is 1818 Kaj. So 18 Kaj, normally our people pronounce it as 18 Kaj steel plate. Each steel plate size, okay, each steel plate size of the steel plate size equal to 0.25 inch thickness and say 3 feet by 2 feet breadth and width. So 3 feet by 2 feet width and breadth. Okay. So 2 cups. There are 2 vacuum cups. Say 2 vacuum cups. 2 vacuum cups are separated by a distance of 1.5 feet. So 2 vacuum cups are arranged to lift the steel plate. So they are arranged in a, say, one vacuum cup is here, another vacuum cup here. So they're separated by 1.5 feet. 1.5 feet. Okay, for stability. So the suction cup is round in shape. The diameter is 5-inch diameter. The diameter D is 5-inch size, each suction cups. So the negative pressure, so okay, the negative pressure compared with the atmospheric pressure is, so 14.7 L pound per inch square. So the negative pressure when compared, that is atmospheric pressure, compare with the negative pressure equal to 14.7 lb per inch square. Okay, lb per inch square. So the atmospheric pressure is given lb per inch square. What will be the negative pressure? So we have to determine the negative pressure. Negative pressure. So how to determine negative pressure? We have to follow this relation. What is the relation? Force equal to also it is given, assume a safety factor of 1.6. So first we know the relation. What is the relation? Use the relation. Solution is use the relation F equal to PA. Okay. So we have to determine the negative pressure. Okay. So we have to determine the pressure. So force, what is force? Force is nothing but weight. Clear? So what is the first to calculate the weight of the stainless steel plate? That is, it is also given the density of the steel. It is also given the density of the steel. So density, say density, consider density of the steel is 0.28 lb per inch cube. 0.28 lb per inch cube. Density, mass by volume, inch cube. So density, this is density. Understand? So first let us calculate the weight. Weight is nothing but weight and force are Newton only. So what is weight? From the density you can calculate mass by volume. So what is the volume of the stainless steel plate? Breadth and width and thickness. So if you multiply these three together, you will get volume. Okay, volume of the stainless steel plate. So volume equal to volume equal to 0.25 inch, 0.25 inch into what is the breadth is 2 feet. 2 feet means 2 into 12, 24 inches. So in inches, 3 into 12, 36 inches. 36 inches. Please tell me the answer. 0.25 into 24 into 36. Please, anybody?
216, sir.
216. 216. Good. Okay, this is volume. So weight equal to density into volume, right? Weight equal to mass by volume. Mass by volume equal to density. So density, what is the density value here? Density of the steel is 0.28. So 0.28 into 216. Please tell me value. Weight of the steel.
60.48, sir.
60.48 pounds LB. Okay, in pounds. Next, we have to find the area of the vacuum cups. What is the area of vacuum cups? Area, it's a round in shape. So area equal to pi d square. Pi d square by 4. Pi d square by 4. Because pi r square, pi d square by 4. So how much? Tell me. Pi into 5 by 2 whole square, pi r square, or pi d square by 4. Both are same. Pi into 2.5 whole square. Tell me, Akash.
19.625, sir.
19.625 inch square. So for effective area, it is given. There are 2 cups. We use 2 cups. So the effective area of vacuum cups, effective.
Sir. 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 Area 4 divide பண்ணல சார்.
ஆமா சார் 4 விட்டீங்க
4.9 வருது சார். 4.9 வருது சார். 4 divide பண்ணல சார்.
pi d square மட்டும் போட்டு
இல்ல d தான் வந்து சார் வந்து 5 divided by 2 divided by 2 பண்ணிட்டாரு. 5 அதெல்லாம் 2.5 மாத்திட்டாரு சார்.
ஐயோ ஏமா இப்படி போட்டீங்கன்னா இப்படியும் கரெக்ட். இப்போ வந்து இத வந்து ஓல் பிராக்கெட் போறேன்னு வெச்சுக்கோங்க. இது என்ன போடுவீங்க? இது 2, இது ஸ்கொயர். சரிதானா?
எஸ் சார்.
என்ன தப்பா? சொல்லமா?
இல்ல சார், கரெக்ட் தான் சார்.
ஓகே, சரி, ஓகே. effective area equal to 2 into 2 cups. There are 2 cups, so 2 into A. So 2 into 19.625. Please tell me the value. 39.26. 39.26 inch square. All right. So effective area. Now calculate the negative pressure. So what is negative pressure? P equal to weight by area. Weight by area. Tell me. 60.48 divided by 39.26. சொல்லுங்க.
1.54 sir.
Very good, very good. ஒன்ஸ்டே இதுக்கு நெட் ஒழுங்கா வர மாட்டேன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்ல.
சார் இங்க ஊர்ல இருக்கேன் சார். டவர் ப்ராப்ளமா இருக்கு சார் இங்க.
சரிம்மா சரிம்மா 1.54 pounds per inch square. So this is the negative pressure we normally obtained from the design. Okay, suppose the safety factor is given. So what is the safety factor? What is the safety factor given? The safety factor is 1.6, right? So safety, so here proceed here. So the safety factor is 1.6. Normally the safety factor is sometimes given. Always we have to calculate the safety factor. So there is a relation for safety factor calculation. I will tell. So safety factor means this is the actual, by actual design we got 1 point we got 1 point, what is the value? 1.54 lb per inch square. This is the actual design. So the whatever the exact negative pressure we apply should be 1.54 into 1.6. So that is the required negative force which is to be employed in the gripper, vacuum cup grippers. So it will be around how much? 1.6 into 2.46. 2.46 inches. That is actual negative pressure is P equal to 2.56. So this is the correct answer. Sorry, 2.56. Around 2.6. 2.6. Next is gripper force calculation. Gripper force. Gripper force. So next is gripping force. Actually, this is a finger, two finger, work part. Work part is between two fingers. Okay, so the weight of the work part, weight is W. Weight is W. Work part, right? So this is gripper. So this is gripper. Gripper. This is work part. So we apply gripping force on either fingers, on either side. Gripping force. So when the work part is actually there is a thumb rule given. Actually, there is a friction between two fingers, between fingers and the work part. So the finger, the mu, that is mu. So mu. So the number of fingers, let n be the number of fingers. Let n be number of fingers. Number of fingers. So mu is friction. So gripping force is applied on either side of the two fingers. So what is the balance equation? The W n mu Fg equal to W. So this is the gripping force balance equation. N is number of fingers. Mu is F is gripping force, Fg, W. So along with this, we have to add one safety parameter, that is called G factor. So after including the G factor. So what is G factor? Engelberger. So he is a scientist. He devised the Engelberger. He devised a thumb rule. When the robo lift the object upside, okay, upside. So lifting, suppose an object lifting upwards. So the G value, the G factor, this G is not a gravitational force. This G factor value is 3. So when it lifts upwards, it requires more force. So when it lifts if the object is towards downwards, then G factor is 1. When the object moves horizontally on either side, so the G factor is 2. This is the thumb rule devised by Engelberger. So another relation is also there. That is the G factor. This is the accurate formula. So that is 1 plus the maximum acceleration performed by the manipulator. Acceleration performed by gripper divided by acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity. Okay. So, and we can design the gripping force on either way, right? Either by using Engelberger relation, or suppose the acceleration of the gripper is given, the maximum acceleration of the, suppose the gripper moves with the acceleration of 40 pounds per inch cube, right? Sorry, 40 pounds per second square, right? Acceleration due to gravity. So suppose 40 pounds per maximum acceleration is 40. The acceleration due to gravity is in MKS unit 32.2. Okay, 32.2 meter per. No, sorry, it is in inch, right? So the maximum acceleration due to gravity, let us consider the maximum acceleration due to gravity of the object, the gripper is 40 inch per second square. Whereas the acceleration due to gravity is in SI unit, it is 9.8 meter per second square. In MKS unit, it is acceleration due to gravity is 32.2 inch per second square. Okay, so you just substitute here G equal to 1 plus 40 divided by 32.2. You will get around 2.25 something. So that you got to substitute here. So we can modify this relation by N number of finger, friction, then gripping force equal to G factor into W. G factor into W. So the G factor is nothing but according to the thumb rule, when the object lift upwards by the gripper, G equal to 3. When object is placed down, so moving downward, the G factor is 1. When the object moving horizontally in a horizontal surface, the G factor is 2. But if the acceleration, say pick and place robo, so it picks and place it very fastly with some acceleration, then we have to calculate the G value by using this relation. So this is the gripping force calculation. Okay, let us do one problem, then you can easily understand. take down a stiff cardboard, a stiff cardboard weight of 10 pounds. 10 pounds. The friction between the finger and the stiff cardboard is 0.25 friction. Okay, friction is 0.25. The cardboard. A stiff cardboard weighs 10 pounds, 10 lbs, 10 pounds. The mu between two fingers and the work part is 0.25. Okay, so the G, because it is lifting upwards, so G equal to 3, G factor equal to 3. Number of fingers NF equal to 2. Okay, so what will be the gripping force? Please calculate and tell me using the relation NF mu Fg equal to W. W is 10 pounds, mu is 0.25, N is NF 2. So 2 into 0.25 into Fg equal to 10 pounds. 10. And G is given. Okay, how much? 3. So what is Fg? 30 divided by 0.5. So 60 lbs. 60 lbs. Clear? Suppose the cardboard movement, the pick and place of the cardboard by the robo gripper with an acceleration of 40 inch per second square, 40 inch per second square. So what will be the G factor that you can calculate, right? So this is a typical problem for calculating gripping force. So next is tools. So what are the tools? So tools. So tools are nothing but specialized devices which is attached at the wrist of the robot. For example, spot welding gun, arc welding tools, spray painting gun, drilling spindle, grinders, wire brushes, so heating torches. So these are all specialized devices. Even you can add scoops, spoon, and hoops. Hey, hoops also consider. Along with this, scoops, spoon, hook. Say in the robo wrist, even this type of also attached hook to pick and place. Even balloon like special device also used. Can you tell me where? Suppose a very thin bottle is there, small neck thin bottle. Okay, thin bottle. So if we apply, this is a bottle, fragile material. If you use mechanical fingers in the bottle, what happen? It will, okay, it's a fragile material, it will break, right? So to avoid, we may not be able to use mechanical fingers or any other device to use this. So what is the specialized tool in that condition? So you just place a balloon like very powerful balloon inside, flattened balloon. So that is also a specialized tool. Flattened balloons. Flattened balloons. So after inserting inside, we have to apply air pressure inside the balloon. So if the balloon gets full, right? So filled with heavy air. So now we can easily lift upwards. Understand? So this is yes, this type of things are called as specialized devices used in the robot.